Hey, Trey,
What's up?
are you a Jay-Z fan?
Absolutely.
Why you say it like that?
Come on, man. That's like saying, do you enjoy breathing?
So you heard that song, I Got 99 Problems?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know about those 99 problems.
What? I want to hear about 98 of them today.
All right, let's go.
This is Mikel-Claire.
And this is Trey.
And we are the couple of entrepreneurs. We're here to share with you our journey of successes and setbacks as we enter the world of entrepreneurship now that we no longer have 9-to-5s due to the new normal of the world and the pandemic.
Join us as we race the clock to start earning money, gain consistency, and overcome self-doubts and uncertainty as we search for our voices and obtain personal and financial growth.
So, do you feel entrepreneurship is solving problems like one after another, after another, after another?
I feel that is all entrepreneurship is. I don't think there's anything else other than the art of solving problems. And if you're really good, you can solve problems quickly.
I feel that it's a great teaching lesson for me. It's teaching me patience. It's teaching me time management. But no, I mean, it is absolutely solving one after another, after another, after another that come up continuously.
Were you expecting that before you got started? Or did it kind of like sneak up on you that the fact that you're always putting out fires?
It was a sneak attack.
Oh.
I mean, I was like bombarded with it. It was like a ninja sneak attack on me. I had no idea that was what was coming. I don't know what I expected, to be honest with you, but I didn't know it was that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, one of the things that really sucks about that is that you can't really pawn it off on anybody else when you're just starting out. If you could pawn it off, who would you pawn it off on?
On you, of course.
Oh,
you are
gosh.
my problem solver. You solve my problems for me. No, not anymore. You kind of given me that task, but that's good because I'm learning. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I have to admit that before I got started, I was pretty surprised at the amount of things that I had to figure out myself as well. Whereas when I had a 9-to-5, there was always somebody that was slightly above me, a boss or a manager per se, that I can bring these problems to and then have them either delegate it to me with instructions or, delegate it to somebody else. Whereas when you're doing your own thing, it's not a whole lot of delegation in the very beginning. I think that's kind of a good thing, though, because it gives you a better understanding of you, like really getting under the hood of your business.
What do you consider something that's a problem?
Oh, wow. There's a laundry list. Everything from time management to money management. You're only allocated so much money and resources, so you have to problem solve as to what gets the priority regarding those finances. If you're going to hire people, then you got to problem solve going through the hiring process. If you're trying to figure out pricing or figure out your marketing, it's a lot of different small moving pieces that make up this big gigantic machine of entrepreneurship.
The question I was asking was like, what categorizes something as a problem? What defines something as a problem? Like, is it something that you can't figure out, that you have to go research? Is it something that you an obstacle that you feel like you can't overcome? Is it like not understanding a piece of software? Like, what is it that defines that something as a problem? Not necessarily what are the problems,
Right.
But what defines something as a problem for you?
Okay. I think what defines a problem is a decision that has to be made that doesn't have an easy outcome. There's tons of decisions that you make, but they may not necessarily be problems. Like a decision between should this icon color be periwinkle blue or I don't know, salmon color or whatever it is. That's not a problem. These are decisions you have to make. Now, a problem is you've got X amount of money, but you only really have enough money to hire one person. So you have to decide between those two people who's the best fit for your job. That is a problem because that's a very difficult decision that has to take effort in order for you to solve.
Okay.
So as long as the problem has a difficulty level and includes effort, then it's a problem.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. I think that's what I was, not what I was looking for, but you know what I mean? I think that's what I was asking. So thank you for that.
No, that's a really good one because I really haven't sat down and thought about it. And actually, it's good that you brought that up because it helps me to really define what really needs my attention that is really a problem and then just what's an inconvenience. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times while we're going through this process, we consider inconveniences problems, and that's not really the case. You know, what would you consider, if we're going to lean on that definition just for this moment, what would you consider an inconvenience as compared to a problem?
I don't know. I think when I was listening to you answer the question, for me, it's all about perspective. So some decision that somebody has to make could be small to one person and big to another. So that's where I'll start with answering this question. You know, it's all about perspective. For me, an inconvenience is, like you said, figuring out how to design a sales page or what color background to put. You know, it's making a decision that can affect your business, but it's not like a crucial or a critical decision that'll affect like the amount of sales that you'll actually have from your page. You know what I mean? So like a problem would be not knowing about sales copy, not knowing about email chains and things like that. Like that could be a problem. So that you need to put forth effort and research and make a decision and decide, hey, I'm going to learn this, because if not, it will affect my business drastically. So I think the effect that it has on your business also makes it a problem versus an inconvenience as well.
Yeah, that's a very good way to refine that point. Well, since we got a pretty good idea of what a problem is, and you are an entrepreneur, what problems have you dealt with today?
Today alone, I have dealt with 99 problems. I'm working on a sales funnel. Let's be real. So, you know, we're watching videos, we're learning, we're researching, and they make it seem, oh, so easy. You click this button and this will appear here and you do this. And then you get to the actual work and it's nowhere near as easy as they make it seem. Or there's so much more work that is involved than what they appear for it to be.
Right.
So I'm trying to save a footer and have this footer appear on every page that follows in my funnel.
Right.
It took me a good 2 days to even get around to doing the research. And then another like day and a half to actually figure it out. And honestly, I think I fumbled upon it. I don't think it was something that I actually learned or, you know, It was like a discovery. It was very interesting to say the least. But how about you? Today alone, what problems have you encountered?
The bane of my entrepreneurial existence, and you already know this because I'm always shouting from the rooftops and the rafters about how much I hate making copy. And for those of you who are just now tuning in for the first time and aren't familiar, copy are the words that you see in advertisements, the words you see in magazine ads, the words you see on commercials, the things that people say when they're selling stuff. And there's an art to it. There's a science to it, and there's an art to it. And although I can appreciate and understand the art and the science of it, the actual application is challenging. So my problem was that I don't want to do it.
That is a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. But I'm trying to find a solution, and I've got a couple of books that have been helping me with writing copy. But the biggest thing that has helped me has been a piece of software that can kind of like help fill in the gaps to give me a kind of like a first draft per se, to get an idea of what it is that I want to say, and then I can go from there. It's a tremendous piece of software, and it saves me a whole lot of time when writing copy. This is a problem because it is difficult for me to do, and I had to make a decision on what it is that I was going to do in order to fix that problem, and that decision cost money. The program wasn't cheap, but I considered it an investment because it's increasing the speed of me completing my task. I think if you've listened to some previous episodes that we've had, we've talked about what does money mean to you regarding entrepreneurship. And for me, it increases the speed of how quickly I can get things done.
So that's for today, right?
Yeah, that's just today.
So in this entire journey, what's the biggest problem that you've had to overcome to date?
I'm pausing because I want to figure out how I want to frame this. And the biggest problem that I've had to date may not necessarily come right out of the book of how to build a business and entrepreneurship. For me, I have difficulties maintaining an attention span for a very long time. There's a lot of names for that. We're not going to go into the details of that, but I am trying to make efforts in my own way to make sure I can stay in the game as long as I can without drifting off and going into daydream land. So that problem takes a lot of discipline and effort to correct, because some of the things that helps facilitate that is my diet and exercise. If I eat the proper foods, then I can think a lot clearer. If I exercise, it does something to my body that allows me to pay attention a lot more. And by me paying attention more, that means I can help my business more. So it is an entrepreneurial problem, because if I can't stay in the game, then I'm bound to lose, right? Mm-hmm. So how about yourself? Out of all this time that we've spent, what has been like the biggest problem that you've either had to overcome or even admit that you've had?
Well, for me, it's also not something that necessarily is in the book of problems. But for me, it's been self-doubt. And that's been along this journey the entire way. A lot of times I've doubted myself in my ability and capability to do it, to succeed in it. And that's obviously a huge problem when you're trying to be successful at something. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing, believe that it's going to work, and that it's going to be a great outcome. So that for me has been the biggest problem so far.
Have you been proud of the way that you've handled it, or like how would you grade yourself on that so far?
I've definitely pushed myself harder than I think I ever have. I have definitely not given up on myself like I have previously. Mm-hmm. I've definitely discovered the things that I need to work on, and I'm actually working on them because I do want to succeed. I do want this outcome to be a good one for myself and our family. And so, I'd grade myself probably a B for effort. Because I absolutely think that I have given it 110%, even though the doubt is there. Right. And because I've come further in this journey than I have in some other journeys that have been difficult for me. Right.
I think you've done a tremendous job. And I'm not just saying that. And I know it takes a lot of effort. And there's a big mental part to this game. It's a tremendous part. And I don't think it gets talked about enough. I mean, everybody talks about the lists that you need to do, the technology that you need, shaking hands, building connections, and all that other stuff. But nobody really goes into the details of the amount of effort and work it takes to get your mind frame, your mind in the right place in order to receive the blessings of having a good business, in order to make the right decisions, in order to make it flourish. So I've been really proud of you regarding that. As far as problems that have not been easy to overcome, is there any that stick out that you're still struggling with?
Well, when you say not easy, do you mean that I have overcome them, or that I just haven't overcome them and they were...
No, you just haven't overcome them. Just, let's have a gut check moment.
If we're talking about my cake business, yes, I have a successful business. But if we're talking about this journey in particular, I don't have a successful business. I don't have an income producing product or business, or, whatever the term is that I'm looking for. But that's obviously a problem that I have not overcome yet. And I'm working towards it, but I'm not there yet. So I still have a long way to go until I reach that finish line, or that promised land, or, the point of where the business is where I would like it to be, or what I'm working towards. So that's definitely a problem.
Okay.
So, What about you? Is there a problem that you have not overcome, and how has it affected your momentum?
Yes, my biggest problem that I have not overcome, and probably haven't since I was in high school, is proper time management in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all. Yeah, I'm grumpy, mean, surly. I'm snarling at people, and that's after I've had my cup of coffee. Before I've had my cup of coffee, just you've been warned. And that is a problem because there is a lot of solid, good work hours that I'm wasting and not using to the best of my ability. Stuff that I can get done that I'm having to fight through at the back end of my day when my attention span is already starting to disappear. That's a problem. That's not good for business. That needs to be corrected. And I think it's a problem because I just can't maintain some type of consistency regarding getting up. Don't get me wrong. I can have my moments where I can, wake up relatively early and get things done for a couple of weeks, and then it kind of like fizzles out. But in order for me to make the best out of what it is that I want to do, that needs to be something that happens every day.
Well, at least you recognize it. You know what I mean? I think that that's the first start, because a lot of people don't actually even acknowledge their problems or what they need to work on. So for you, time management in the morning. For me, my self-doubt, I think those, because we recognize it, then we're able to work on them and hopefully solve them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they're all perfectly solvable. We just have to put forth the proper energy to get it solved.
What advice would you give someone that is just not a good problem solver? Do you think that they could still be a good entrepreneur, or do you think that that's like a deal breaker?
I think it's a deal breaker. Off the top of my head, I think that it can't be done. But then again, there are always exceptions to the rules. If you already have a lot of resources to begin with, and you can delegate tasks to somebody that can handle problems, and then you only handle like the most critical of all problems, then yes. If you're just starting out with nothing, then I don't think entrepreneurship may be the path for you if you are unable to solve problems on your own. I think once you get to a certain income, then yeah, you can just delegate those problems. But starting out, I don't think it can be done.
So you don't think that problem solving is something that can be learned, or something that can be improved upon, like over time, or be taught?
I think anything can be learned. I think you can learn to be a problem solver, but it also takes a certain kind of mindset. Just like anybody can be a champion, but it takes a certain mindset for somebody that's destined to be champion. There's a lot of people that are on championship teams that sat on the bench and didn't really do anything and was dragged to a championship. But then you have those people that are like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Joe Montana or whatever it is, that just know what it takes to take a team to a championship. And I think decision making is that for entrepreneurship. You have to be able to solve problems, make big decisions, stick to them, have a game plan, and push it through. I think that there is something to be kind of concerned about a little bit if you always delegating all of your big decisions and problems to somebody else, because then you kind of don't really know your business. Somebody else knows your business. And if you don't know your business, then you can run into some problems when things go wrong because you're not going to know how to fix them. How about you? Based off of what you've seen so far and the hassle and struggle that it can be to always put out fires and solve problems, do you think that this can be done without learning the discipline of problem solving?
I do think that you can learn how to be a good problem solver. I do think that it will take time. I do think that it will take effort and maybe some research and some soul searching and some inward reflection, all of that. But I do think that it's completely possible for someone to learn how to problem solve. Do I think that you can run a good business if you are not a problem solver? No, I don't. But I do think if you're willing to put forth the effort and the work to learn how to become a problem solver, then you can become successful.
Well, how about you, everybody? How do you all deal with problems, problem solving? If you're on a platform that allows comments, please let us know. We might even touch up on them in a later episode. Thank you so much for listening to The Couple of Entrepreneurs. What? See, there's a problem we need to solve right there. Let's try that again. Thank you so much for tuning into The Couple of Entrepreneurs. Look at this. Oh, this is a problem.
That's a problem, but we're going to solve this problem one more time.
Okay.
One more time.
Thank you for tuning into Oh, gosh. Let's just play the music.
Okay. Where's the pin? Maybe I was waiting on the pin first, but I'm ready. I'm ready this time.
All right. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and drop a pin on this. And thank you again for listening to The Couple of Entrepreneurs. Hit that subscribe button. Tell everybody you know about our wonderful show, because we talk about getting money and all the things you need to do to have the right mindset about entrepreneurship. Thank you for being a part of our world and tuning in to our successes and our failures, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace out.